Excited to hear that Denzel is the Big Ten Player of the Week, I think. Co-Big Ten Player of the Week, whatever it might be. So very excited for Denzel there. Well-deserved. Fantastic stat line for sure. And also the way he played, the competitive edge he played with, really impressed there. Other than that, watching the game, I thought we did some good things, certainly things we want to improve upon in terms of, technique, in terms of identification of certain coverages, identification of certain plays on offense against our defense, special teams, had a couple penalties, had a couple, put the ball on the ground too many times, put the ball on the ground on a punt, put the ball on the ground on a reverse, put the ball on the ground on a snap at the end of the game. But for the most part, we still finished +2 in the turnover battle. We were very efficient on third down. We were very efficient in the red zone on offense. We had a very good second half on defense. So altogether, glad that we're 6-2. We have a bye week, and now we have an opportunity for the final 4 games to see what our postseason can look like.
You talk about what you saw on film with the left side of your offensive line, the difference between John and Carver in there versus Sewanee and Pocky.
Well, I'm not going to compare the guys. I would say that we felt, obviously, that having the 2 guys that were the starters and have earned the right to be the starters all season long, who were out for the last 4 weeks, brought some consistency and brought some energy and did a great job of helping solidify what I believe our whole offensive line had their best game. When Sewanee was in, when Pocky was in, when Sewanee and Pocky were in, we had a full rotation the whole game. They guys were all rotating in and out. And I thought all of them did a really good job. I thought Landon Hatchett did a really good job. I thought the guards, the right side of the line did a really good job. We had no sacks. We ran the ball well. But, I think it was just nice to have them all back.
Zach at tight end.
Yeah, it was good that Zach played a few snaps at tight end. I don't think that's a natural position for him, but he was able to come in there and help us when need be. But Zach will, of Quentin Moore, we expect Quentin Moore to be back. So Zach will take on his role as the backup center and some guard rotation.
Wearing number 80. What's that? Zach wearing number 80. How do the mechanics of that work? Could he have slid back in wearing number 80, playing at guard?
No, I would have just changed his jersey. But we had the ability to. You could put him at whatever jersey number you want to put him at. You just have to tell him ahead of time that Zach's number will be 80 for this game, unless we flip it back to an ineligible number if we needed him to play O-line. But we had 2 jerseys available.
You mentioned Quentin coming back. Is Jalen going to be able to play this year? And how about Christian, CJ Christian, and there was one more I'm trying to think.
I don't know if they'll be able to play or not. I think it'll all be based upon their health. Right now, they're not able to play.
What about Rashid? Does he have a chance to come back after the bye week?
Yeah, Rashid. I expect Rashid to be playing against Wisconsin.
How do you approach that position? I mean, obviously, Desmond Roebuck has been playing very well. Rashid was starting there before he got hurt. How do you kind of handle that once he's healthy?
Yeah, well, Rashid and Desmond were rotating through early on, and that'll continue. And we've got, I think this past week, we rotated some. Chris Lawson was in there. Raiden was in there. Kevin Green had some snaps. Dez had a bunch of snaps. So we'll just continue to look at different substitution patterns. Maybe there's a package or 2 that somebody can be responsible for that would potentially give them some more reps, if we call that personnel package. But we'll always play the guys that we think will help us the most every given play. And then it's a nice problem to have when you gain depth. It's a nice problem to have when your starters come back or when guys that were impacting the game come back. So we'll have to really look at it and see as we get Quentin Moore back, as we get Rashid back, we're becoming pretty healthy here. So hopefully, the last thing we're really waiting on is to just hear what goes on with Jacob.
How do you, or how has Rasheed dealt with the injury? He waited his turn to be a starter, earned it after camp, and then second game, basically out of there. How did he deal with everything?
Yeah, I think exceptionally well. I think we have a big point of emphasis on always making sure that anybody that's ever been, injured in our program, we have a group that meets with our sports psychologists and make sure that we do a great job of keeping everybody positive, making sure that we always emphasize that anybody that has an injury, we have that group always going. We have opportunities for our guys to always stay healthy and happy and be involved. Rasheed's been very involved in all of our meetings, all the practices. We've been very involved with the team, never missed anything that we did. So he's just getting ready and stronger, and I think that's a really cool opportunity for him to come back after his surgery, and I think he's ready to roll.
John Mills, aside from just his size, what did you guys see from him as a prospect to let you know that he could play right away as a true freshman relative to the average freshman offensive lineman?
Yeah, well, I think since I've been a head coach, I've started a freshman offensive lineman every year, other than last one, I think. So whether it be Wendell Moy, whether it be Jonas Savanea, whether it be John Mills, those guys are, you could kind of feel if they're ready ahead of time. You look at them and you look to see, are they physically grown up? Do they have the right demeanor? What does it look like in their high school film? Do they look like a guy that's been able to handle one-on-one matchups with the better players in the different games that they've had? Really evaluate their games against the top-tier talents rather than the second-level talents in their high school programs. Guys that are being recruited to the Division I programs. What does that look like? How they played in those games? And then when they get here, you probably need to come early if you're going to play as a lineman. I think that's a big part of it because of the weight room. And, then the amount of work that you need to get on a daily basis during spring football is really important for an offensive lineman to be a starter as a freshman. So he was all of that. He was all of that in regards to physicality. He was all of that in terms of he played his best games against the best players. He had the attitude of wanting to come in and start right away. So he was attacking the weight room. He was attacking the meals. He was attacking nutrition. And then on top of that, he was always upstairs asking questions. So he gave you every indication that if it was his time, he could do it.
Did you always see him as a guard? Could there be some tackle in his future?
No, I think that he has absolutely an opportunity to grow outward and play tackle. I think we'll have to see who's coming in. We've got some really good prospects coming in, and we have some really good players that are developing. So we'll figure out our best 5 next year and play them. But I believe that when we were watching John in high school, he was a tackle, and and a guard, and he played both, and we could kind of have that same ability and flexibility to be able to have that in the future.
You became bowl eligible over the weekend. Do you still think you have a shot to get into the playoffs with a couple of losses, if you could win out?
Sure. There was a lot of, I think the national champion last year was 10-2. So, sure. If you can win out and you can play well, yeah, of course you can. I think that it's all a matter of how we play this week against Wisconsin to give us the opportunity to go to the next level.
You mentioned how well the offensive line played. When you were taking a look at the film, is there anything else that really jumped out to you that wasn't real obvious to us?
In terms of how people played?
What was that?
In terms of how people played?
Right.
Well, I think, Alex McLaughlin and X-Ray Alexander both had 12 tackles. They were around the ball often. What really stood out to me was our defense's personality on the field. They were very aggressive. They went after the football. The ball was on the ground a bunch of times. Now, some of it was right at the whistle. Some of it was they declared a guy down. A couple of the interceptions were called back due to a penalty. But we were around the ball. We were around the ball a lot. And, we want to be a takeaway team. And Saturday showed me that we can do that.
About takeaways, how did you feel like Rashawn played in that game?
Good. He had a really good game. That was a great interception that he made. There was a great pass breakup he made in the end zone on the inside fade. I thought he was physical. I thought he did a really nice job in the run game, making tackles. He played almost every snap at nickel, and that was the most he's ever played in a college football game. And it was fun watching him compete and actually be the guy that the last defensive play that our defense had was that interception. On offense, we kept the ball the final 6 minutes and 12 seconds. So it was when he got us the ball back, that was the end.
What did he do in the week leading up to that game to earn that start?
He's had a couple weeks of having really good football. And he's done a nice job in practice, and he's done a nice job in the games that he's gone in on, and we felt like it was time to give him the opportunity to be the starter.
As we've seen more growth from X-Ray throughout the season, where do you see him improve the most? Is there one particular thing?
Composure, not feeling like you have to make the play at the exact moment, and then sometimes you forget about what your responsibilities are. I think he's gotten really much better at diagnosing plays and understanding what's coming at him and understanding what the offense is trying to do and not kind of falling for the first look or the first read, and understanding and recognizing what his responsibility is and just doing his job rather than try to do somebody else's. That really showed up this past game.
Was it an eye-opener for you and your staff to see Zadrius backpedal 25 yards down the field and like a cornerback and then perfectly hit the guy without turning around? And I mean, he did everything like a cornerback would do.
I thought he did a good job of playing linebacker in 3-deep zone. And, he did it right. He did it right. He played it right. He's very athletic. He's got great size. And he has continued to show us that he's improving. He had 27 plays, I believe it was, in this game. And for somebody that didn't have a training camp and didn't have a spring ball, pretty fun to watch him get better and better every week.
Did he have the green dot helmet at times in that game?
I don't know that. I don't think so. But I don't know. That one I don't keep track of.
Can you maybe give us a little bit of insight with DeMond following the Michigan game up into this game? Because it was night and day difference, I felt, with him. Just what his week was like, and did it make him motivated a little bit more to just play better after the Michigan game?
I didn't see night and day. I thought that we played a different team that played us differently. We made some errors in one game. We made less errors in this game. But he's just getting better every week. He's just continuing to improve. He's 19. He's never started. He's started 9 games now, I think. 10 games. He's a 10-game starter in college football. Every week is going to be different. Every week is going to be unique. In terms of the defense we're playing, in terms of the coverages we're getting, in terms of the fronts, we don't have anything to pull from. We don't have like, wow, the last time we played so-and-so, or wow, the last time, everything is new. Every game is brand new for him. The only game that will be a repeat performance will be Oregon, because that's the only game that he's played, unless we play Louisville. That'll be the only game that he's played now, the same defensive coordinator twice. So everything's going to be different. And every time he goes out there, he's going to learn from experiences. But his preparation, his quarterback play, his brain, his prep is all the same. Just gets better every week.
How would you assess the performance of the defensive line this game? I know Illinois came in allowing a fair amount of sacks. Do you still expect more from that group over the final month of the year?
Yeah, I think I expect more from every group the final month of the year. I would like us to get better every single week, without question. And I want all 3 phases, to be better than they were the first 2 months. And that's what our plan's going to be. And that's what we're going to do. Our defensive line is no different than that. I'd like to see us make more plays, make more havoc plays, punch the ball out while the running back's trying to run through the A-gap. Make sure that the run goes for 1 or 2 yards, not 4 or 5. Let's get a sack, at the pass rush, position, or see if we can. There was 3 or 4 opportunities to sack the quarterback in this past game, and we didn't get that done. We were close. Alenius was close. Alex was close. Ty was close once or twice, but Jacob Lane was close. Durfee was close, but we got to make those plays. Mikkel was close. I think there were 6 almost sacks. And the goal would be to take some of those almost sacks and make them a sack.
We talked to you last week. The ruling on the remaining eligibility had just come out. Have you had a chance to talk to Jacob since we talked to you last?
No, because the ruling, it doesn't affect his court case. His court case is going to be based upon what a judge decides. And if a judge wants to have a temporary injunction or not. So we're just waiting to hear what the judge says.
You mentioned that it would be a problem keeping him on the sidelines, and you didn't trust him to sneak into a game.
Yeah.
I
didn't put him in uniform this week.
Did you hide it?
No, I just put him in a sweatsuit, and then I knew he couldn't go in the game. I made a deal with him that he didn't have to wear a uniform in this game, and knowing that I wasn't going to put him in.
Roebuck had 2 touchdown catches on Saturday. What can you say about his growth and maturity over the course of the year?
He's doing really well. He's a young freshman that came in the summer. He wasn't even here spring. He's the only receiver, I believe, that didn't come early. Maybe Daisy didn't come early. But that being the case, I think that it's pretty special seeing what he's been able to do since he's gotten here. And we've put him in a lot of positions to have to do a lot of different things. We put him inside, we've put him outside, we've motioned him across, we've put him in the backfield and motioned him out, and we'll continue to do that. And his growth has been great. It's been fun to watch him. He's got tremendous hands. We've always known that. He's got great body control and balance. We saw that on the corner route that he caught and stayed in bounds. We saw the physicality he plays with on the scramble touchdown that he made. And I think Dez will continue to just get better and better and better and better. And as we're trying to really mature as an offense, we'll see these freshmen become sophomores and these sophomores become juniors, and it's kind of fun to watch it.
Your freshman tight end, Barron, was he comfortable in his advanced role?
Yeah, he did a really nice job. He's going to be very good. Very, very good. I think, actually, he has a ton of potential to be a really good player. So we'll have Quentin Moore back this week. So it'll be great for Barron, now that he's had some reps, to be able to get all 3 of them in the rotation now. And now that Cade cannot play this year, but Cade still has, eligibility left, so he'll be back next year. And we'll be able to get all these tight ends and, Cade some fullback work as well.
What about Isaiah? What's his status? What's the injury he's dealing with?
He has a lower body injury, and he's probably week to week. We'll see how he does after the bye. Well, he won't get any reps this week for the bye week, and then we'll see where he's at leading into the Wisconsin game.
Is there any, examination necessary because of these sideline interference penalties? Are they just random, or?
No, we had a coach that was all fired up on an interception, and the official touched him by accident. It just happened to be a coach was on the white or in the white, and when the interception happened, the official ran 20 yards, and when that happened, we had a young coach who's first year coaching got excited. That's all it was. No examination.
All right. Coach Sprinkle put out a tweet yesterday about your guys working with the basketball team.
Yeah.
Teaching them some stuff.
Yeah.
Teaching them some stuff. Do you learn anything from the basketball players? Does it go the other way?
Yeah, it was a different situation. They wanted to learn. They were talking about rebounding, and they wanted to use some of our defensive line. Our coaches talking about swim moves, and they had Ben Kramer over there, who's our hand-to-hand combat coach, who does a ton of work with our players, our pass rushers, our offensive linemen, our wide receivers, our DBs, learning how to rip and strip and be able to swim and do all the different techniques. So we sent Ben over with Coach Kafusi, and they talked about different ways to get to the boards. I learned from everybody. I was with Coach Sprinkle yesterday for a long time, and talking about leadership, team bonding, team building, the responsibilities of a head coach, and went back and forth for hours yesterday afternoon and an evening for dinner, and talked about a lot of different things after their scrimmage that they had and after we were done with our players.
I look at a couple of those guys on the team. I see a linebacker. I see a safety. Do you think like that at all when you watch those guys?
I want them to go win their championship with their team, and I'll try to do what we can with ours. Okay, have a good one. Thanks.